Some of the challenges that we had with this was that we were dealing with the architectural of the building, we were dealing with the fire protection, and sometimes those two things clash. Like in this particular case where you see the pipe that's kneeled up around the top here, we took photos of it first, we drew where we were going to install it, and then before we actually installed it, we had to do a mock-up to show the architect and the fire protection engineer where the locations of the heads were going to be put. All the pipe has been faux finished to match the artwork to make it blend in as much as possible so it's not being seen. If you look at the arches over here to the right that go up and around, each one of those were made by templates on the floor and then curved to those templates.
What they consisted of was a 20-foot piece of hard-drawn K copper, thickest copper you could get. We annealed the copper 1400 degrees and then we would let it cool down, and then we would buff it down with steel wool, every inch of it.
We had our stonemasons setting the anchors. We would actually put blue tape up there. We would mark where they would go after the architect and the fire protection engineer approved it. And then the stonemasons would come in and actually drill it. Now, if the stone was loose, the mosaic tile was loose, we would take photos of all that, pull it all apart, clean it back up, reattach everything before the pipe ever got put in there. And when the painter comes in and does this work, each piece, you can't pre-do that. If you look at that faux work right there, you can see where he's taken the vein of the existing stone and painted it onto the pipe. So it's not obtrusive at all. It's just whatever we had to do to try to hide it, we did it.
We had to braze that head in between the two statues up there, up in there, right. Up in that little space.
You got to protect it.
It was difficult.
Our number one thing was protecting the artwork.
This church is basically designed entirely around the mosaics. There's about 2,700 square foot of mosaic in the project. The team of artists from Italy came. They did the entire project, their portion of the project, in 3 weeks. There was 26 artisans. This is the entry to the church. The whole church tells a liturgical story. Some of the faces and hands were made in their shop in Italy and then shipped over. Probably 40% of the faces and hands were put together here on site. And all the bodies, all the scenes were set piece by piece by piece. All of the irregular shapes were formed here using nippers and grinders. Obviously a lot of it's high work. A lot of it was fabricated right on the scaffold. They go all over the world doing this, but this is the second largest church they've ever done. Interesting watching them just kind of create it as they went. There was no You know, it wasn't like what we're used to, where you have a set of plans and you're building off of the plans. It wasn't like that at all. It was very much an organic process.